Do let us know your view. You can write to us at europetoday@euronews.com or reach out to us on social media. But now, coming up, we'll be joined by Vjosa Osmani, the president of Kosovo, elected on a promise to tackle corruption and normalise relations between Kosovo and Serbia. President Osmani has been in Paris since 2021, and she's in Brussels today for the EU Western Balkans Summit. Good morning, President.
Good morning.
Lovely to have you with us here on Europe Today. So, of course, Kosovo's not yet a candidate country for EU membership. It's not recognised by 5 EU countries. Will it ever be a member of the EU, do you think?
Absolutely. It's our destiny. It's something that we've worked for a very long time. And while practically speaking, we've only applied a few years ago, and we're hoping for our application to be on the table of the members of the Council very, very soon. In fact, as an identity, as a country, as a nation, we've been contributing to the values on which the European Union stands for centuries. So we strongly believe that while it's a very complex process, if the merit-based criteria is used, Kosovo actually would have been a front runner by now. But it's complex in our case additionally because of the 5 non-recognizers who we truly do hope will understand that having Kosovo as a member of the Union, it's not just at the benefit of the people of Kosovo, but it's a strategic imperative, it's a security imperative for the entire continent.
And as you say, it's a very complex process. How would you rate perhaps your progress towards getting in line with EU standards and making sure the reforms are done, the most urgent ones?
Well, if we look at what the EU says about that progress, Kosovo is right now at a 100% alignment with the common foreign and security policy of the European Union. Every single decision in these areas is completely aligned, whether it's sanctions against Russia or against other adversaries of the Western world and what the EU represents today. In terms of values, Kosovo is also entirely aligned. In terms of rule of law reforms, we are a front runner, and based on international indices such as Gallup International, which was recently published, Kosovo is actually #1 in Europe in terms of the rule of law index. It's topping all of the European countries, and it's 3rd in the world when it comes to fighting crime and corruption. This has been the top priority of our institutions, and right now, in terms of the corruption perception index, we have the lowest in the region. So these are some of the issues that we worked on hard. In terms of economic reforms, again, according to the European Union reports that we get yearly, we are the best in the region. In terms of administrative reforms, we're the best in the region. Obviously, there are still some things and some homework that we have to complete. But I think if there were no political complications that have nothing to do with reforms, we would have absolutely been the top country in the region so far.
Because now, of course, Ukraine is the top, if you like, because, of course, the situation there, it was speedily given candidate status. How does that make Kosovo feel?
We do support Ukraine's membership in the European Union. As I said, this is beyond just the internal reforms in a certain country. If we want Europe to be whole, free and at peace, which was the dream of the founders, we need to understand that we need to be given a chance to move forward. And while, of course, we would want Ukraine to complete all of the reforms that are required of the rest of us too, it is a security imperative as well. Look, adversaries such as Russia, China and Iran do not leave any space without having it used. So there's no vacuum. If the European Union, if the transatlantic relationship is not, of course, having its influence in the Western Balkans, someone else will come, not for charity, but because they have strategic interest there. So we need to make sure that whether it's Ukraine or the Western Balkans, again, on a merit-based process, move forward.
Okay. That is your destiny, as you say. President Osmani, thank you so much for coming into us today on Europe Today, and all the best for your long, busy day here in Brussels. But that, in fact, does bring this edition of Europe Today to an end. Thank you so much for tuning in. For more on those votes in Strasbourg today or the EU Western Balkans Summit, do visit our website, euronews.com, for longer reads. And join us again tomorrow.